Okay, so I saw this on Twitter. It says, name up to 3 bands or artists you feel changed the trajectory of music, and I figured I would give my take. So first up, I have Mariah Carey. If you know me, you know that she's my favorite artist of all time. I don't play about her, I don't. And so why do I say that she changed the trajectory of music? It's a few things, to be honest with you. So number one, I think that her vocals, if you listen to her debut album with songs like Vision of Love, for example, just the melisma and the riffs and runs that she was doing, she really popularized that at the time. And somebody called it the Magna Carta of melisma, and it influenced a lot of artists like Beyonce. She said she was fascinated by what she was doing and she was trying to, mimic that and incorporate that into her music. Ariana Grande said something similar as well. Kelly Clarkson, Christina Aguilera. Mariah very much popularized the style of singing that she has. And if you see people try to cover a Mariah Carey song, 9 times out of 10 they fall on their face because her songs are that hard to sing. That's why everybody just sticks to Hero pretty much. And if you don't, it's basically going to be a death sentence for you just because of how complex her songs are vocally. So I think she definitely popularized that singing style, and so I think she deserves credit for that and for influencing generations of singers. And then you also have the entire point with Fantasy Remix, her getting ODB on it and popularizing the pop rap collab that we see so often nowadays. And like people have said, she was not the first one to do this. People did it before her, but she popularized it, okay? So a lot of people saw her doing it, or like, okay, let me do this. So yeah, she popularized it. So there was that as well. And then also I would bring to the front the fact that everybody wants to have a Christmas song and a Christmas album because of Mariah Carey. All I Want for Christmas Is You came out. It was successful at the time, but it wasn't allowed to chart on Billboard because of the rules that they had at the time. They reversed that, and over the years you see it growing and growing and growing, and the success that it has. And so many artists now are releasing Christmas songs and Christmas albums, just trying to get a sliver of the success that Mariah Carey has with All I Want for Christmas Is You. Yeah, those are the main ways I feel like she changed music. I'm sure that there's probably a few other ways, but yeah, I think Mariah, very influential, one of the best artists of all time, and her impact is there and it has to be studied. So gotta give respect where respect is due. Of course, had to start off with Mariah. The second artist that came to mind was the Beatles. And so in the beginning of their career, they did a lot of great pop rock songs, mainly more so kind of leaning towards pop a little bit, just with rock instrumentation. I would say 2 to 3 minute songs. We got a middle 8 here or there, and they were great. They were serviceable, they were catchy. And as they go on in their career, you see them experiencing, some more interesting moments musically with what they were able to do, just, messing around with the tape loops and playing stuff backwards. And you see that on albums like Revolver, for example. Rubber Soul kind of deserves to be in that conversation as well. Sgt. Pepper's, etc. So you kind of see them doing that and just getting more psychedelic with their sounds. And we have some records like I Want You, She's So Heavy, which is them really tapping into that, and so many records. So I think that you kind of saw the shift onto there as well. So I think that people were influenced by that, and I think that they were really innovative for the time, especially if you listen to stuff like the White Album and all the different sounds that they were having on there. And then, of course, you have the fact that all of them were songwriters and everything. And so I believe I read somewhere that during the time, whenever they were coming up, it wasn't really that popular to write your own songs. You were kind of just covering people's songs more off. And then once you got more famous, like, people would write songs for you, and some people wrote their own songs. But a lot of people said that they were inspired to be songwriters by the Beatles. So you have that. I believe they also invented or popularized the music video. So yeah, so I just think for the time, they were doing a lot of cool stuff, and you can listen back and you're like, oh, it doesn't sound that innovative now just because so much has been done now. But I think for the time, they just did a lot of great stuff. So I think that those are the main ways that they kind of changed the music industry, I would say. And then, of course, you had Beatlemania and everything that the fans were doing. And then we see that later with artists like Justin Bieber and how insane that was. So just the amount of people that were going out to buy the record, supporting them. 20 #1 singles on Billboard Hot 100 charts, and they are the artist with the most. And Mariah Carey's at number 2 with 19, and so many records that they broke. But yeah, those are the main ways I would say that they changed everything. Last up, I have SZA, and so yeah, this kind of came to mind just because I feel like she kind of popularized the style of R&B that we see going on a lot. Her confessional stylings and just like her vocal deliveries and the way that she writes. I feel like a lot of people have been trying to rip her off since then, to no avail. So I think that she's unique in what she does. So that's kind of how I feel she's changed the landscape of modern R&B. And I said after SOS, I feel like she has no competition really. If you look at the numbers covers and just all that stuff, I mean, it's kind of not really up for debate. So that's what I would say is SZA. I considered putting Taylor Swift in this, honestly, and I mean, I still could, just because of how popular she's been for so long, and the changing of genre as in her doing all the Taylor's versions, and now you see artists starting to do that, and so she's definitely had influence in there. And of course you could say she went from country to pop, but I mean, Shania Twain was doing that in the 90s and everything, so you could also say Taylor Swift in this video as well. But those are just 3 artists that came to my mind that I feel like changed the current landscape of music. So let me know what you guys think of my picks below, and also people you feel like changed the landscape of music, and we can continue that conversation.